We know that that's what Dave Gettleman did. He traded back, and we lost out on Micah Parsons because of that. Micah Parsons should be a Giant. Should have been a Giant anyway. Speaking of which, we're talking about draft capital, not draft capital, sorry, cap space. Obviously, free agency is about 3 weeks away. I think legal tampering begins March 10th. I think that's what the date is. Anthony, is there anybody that you look at and go, the Giants really need to throw a bag at this? Is there one guy you could sit there and go, I would throw 60% of my draft or my salary cap at? Is there somebody you like have your eye on, say, we really need this guy to come in here and be a Giant?
Not at that kind of price tag. I know a lot of Giants fans really want Trey Smith. I think that when you look at Trey Smith, yes, he's a proven commodity. He's a great right guard. I also think it's important to look at context and situation. The New York Giants are not a great situation, and Trey Smith has played for the Kansas City Chiefs and won 2 Super Bowls, playing in front of the best quarterback in the world and under the best head coach in the world. So I don't expect these players that play for these great teams and play so well for these great teams to come over here and continue playing at that exact same level. You have to expect some sort of regression. And in this market and with these fans, if Trey Smith comes over here and he gives us anything underneath elite level play, Giants fans are going to lose their freaking minds. So I think that's just throwing caution to the wind. If they do go out there and sign some elite talent, I think Giants fans should temper their expectations across the board here with any of these free agents. The guy that I like the most is Justin Fields as a short-term, starter for a few weeks. Then the rookie comes in, bridge kind of player who has upside. I'm still on the Fields train. I like him. But if they want something a little bit more legitimate as a starting quarterback with all of these Matt Stafford rumors swirling around, Russell Wilson, go bring him here, have him feed Malik Neighbors. He can be here for 2 years if you want him to be. But I also think Giants fans need to realize that price tag is going to be really high for Russell Wilson. You're going to sign Russell Wilson and just about nobody else unless you backload that deal. He's going to cost you a ton of money. Yeah. I also think it's interesting. I was listening to the Rich Eisen show earlier today and his reaction to the salary cap. And the number one thing that he said that he took away, and I actually found this pretty eye-opening, was GMs should no longer pinch pennies on running backs and safeties. That's exactly what the Giants did last year. But with the cap going up every single year, these bad contracts and position value contracts that you don't sign, like to a running back, I mean, we always talk about the fact that the Giants, could they have given Saquon $4 million guaranteed more? He only wanted a few more million. The cap went up the following year, so they should have. And it's going up astronomical numbers every single year, so they probably should have thrown that extra few million in guarantees because that's the way that the salary cap is moving. That seems to be what the Saquon Barkley's agents understood, what the Eagles understood, what the Giants probably didn't have the foresight to see. And so I do think that is something that the Giants should keep in mind as the salary cap goes up. You can have a little bit more wiggle room in negotiating these contracts with these positions that might be a little bit undervalued.
Yeah, really good point. Because, it does. Where it goes up 10% every year, something like that, 10, 15% every year. So,
but it's all relative. Their contracts go 10% too. So,
of course.
But
like what Anthony is saying, if they signed them now.
I understand what he's saying. Yeah, just to add to what Anthony had to say there, you look at what the Eagles do, and everybody and it's great what he's able to do with the cap and how he's able to keep his players. And I envision if the Giants are ever able to get to the point to have what they feel is a Super Bowl window, they will start to do things like that. They will do these void years on these contracts where you could take extra risk when you feel like you have a more developed roster. The problem is we have to get to that point, and we haven't been able to do it. So I think every GM, most GMs at least, I would think, realize they could do creative things with the cap. But in terms of what I think the Giants are going to target in free agency, I've said it all along. I think it's going to be corner and wide receiver. I think those are going to be the two primary positions where they go after.